All right, great to have you with us. 6 o'clock, New York City on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. It is the Built Ford Tough Studio. 888-808-1019 is the number. Boomer and Gio are out. They are done until the new year. We will see them next Friday on a Football Friday on the 2nd. And so, sitting in with myself is the great, I almost called you the late and great, but you're not dead. It is the great, the great Willie Colon, who I've not seen now since I guess it was like summertime.
Man, it's been that long?
I think so, yeah. I mean, the last time we sat in and did this,
right.
Yeah, I mean,
August, right?
I would say it had to be August because the guys have pretty much been in every day. So
Does your mic stink?
What?
Does your mic?
Does it smell?
It smells.
No, that could be. It's not the mic. It's the mic.
The
condom, whatever it's called. Yeah, the wrap. That's I mean, that's everybody spitting into it. You should probably have your own one.
Yeah, this thing is rank.
Yeah, I can't help you there. Mine's fine, but it is what it is. So, how you been? You good?
I'm good, brother. All is well. Another down Jets year.
So I told you briefly outside, and we're going to get to the football because a couple of interesting things when I looked at last night and the football on Sunday. But one of my rituals has now become a couple of different things. I like on Sunday night before I go to sleep because I don't watch any of this stuff live. I'm usually working at Compass Media Network's broadcast. So when I get into downtime mode, decompress mode on a Sunday night, I go to YouTube. And there are certain things that are must-watches for me. Number one, I do like to watch, it used to be a Brian Dable press conference. Now it's the Jackson Dart press conference, especially when they let him throw 13 times and throws for 33 yards. How can you not watch that? I find that amusing. The other one, which has become a must-watch, and I mean for almost the entirety of the season, has SNY yet posted the first segment of Jets Postgame Live, because what you guys do on a every Sunday night basis is comical, and I feel for you. So, like, I turned it on Sunday night after this latest game that they played, which was just a disaster in New Orleans. I'm like, how are they going to put a lipstick on a pig tonight? And you guys are great. You don't. You guys are critical. But, God, that's got to be hard to sit there and do this every Sunday night.
And we've been doing it for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And I think, I credit Gelbs and Bart and Connor Rogers, who I think is awesome and super talented, man. We collectively have to not just show our frustration, but also understand, like, man, at some point it's going to get good, right? Like, we have to be optimistic, but also be realistic. And I think a lot of Jets fans come to us, treat us like therapy. Like, we're in therapy, and we appreciate all the love and support. But it's not easy because this is a team, especially at the beginning of this season, and this is Aaron Glenn's words, that the product was going to be different. It was going to be something that we should be proud of, and nothing has worked. Nothing. No,
and there's really nothing to be proud of, quite frankly. I know he talked about effort the other night, the game in New Orleans on Sunday. Okay, you lost 26 to whatever it was to a... Now, they're better. New Orleans is better as the season's gone on, but I think therein lies the problem. I think, I could be wrong, but I think Jet fans were hoping that as the season went on, the product would get better. I don't think any Jet fan thought this was going to be a playoff team or a Super Bowl team, but I think what they were hoping for is kind of like what New Orleans is going through right now, and to a much lesser degree because they're a playoff team going to win the division, like what Ben Johnson said the other night when they beat Green Bay. One of the reporters said, why did you think you'd be better in December than you were in September? And he basically said because rookies are learning, and the more they play, the better they get.
Correct.
The more that the team understands the system and the plays we're calling, the more cohesive it becomes. The quarterback sees the field better as the season goes on, and so he believed that the ascent starts in August, and you hope you're peaking in December. And I think Jet fans were hoping that at least the product looks better. And I know the quarterback's a big part of it. I get that. But this product is terrible.
It's bad. And I think after week one, especially against, the game they had against the Steelers week one, everybody was like, yeah, they lost. But, man.
They played well.
They came out like gangbusters. They were fighting and scrapping. They had that one, turnover that killed them in the game on special teams. However, you just thought like, man, we finally saw an outfit that was competing and fighting and scrapping. Okay, Aaron Glenn, thank you. Let's move forward. And then everything from there on kind of tailspin and nothing came into fruition. And then even after they let Sauce Gardner and Quentin Williams go, I felt like the team did play better. That Baltimore game, if Breece Hall doesn't fumble, they possibly win that game. Then
Sure.
the game after that, they were competitive. And then they took a nosedive again. And I think for a lot of fans, they're like, man, I don't know what it is. I don't know what we're looking at. I don't know what to hope for. I think a lot of the Jets fans are just kind of just stuck in this rut of limbo where they're like, man, I guess I don't. You just kind of got to figure it out as it goes. And when you don't have a competent quarterback, and you told this Jet fan base that Justin Fields was going to be the guy to kind of give you some type of spark, and that was an absolute failure. You're just stuck. I think a lot of Jets fans just feel stuck and miserable right now.
I don't know how you couldn't. And the Giant fans are probably feeling the same way, though I think feel good about the quarterback. And then, I said yesterday morning when I did the 5 to 6 by myself, when I watched the Jets and the Giants, compared to high-level football like we see when the Rams play the Seahawks, like we see when the Broncos play the Jaguars. Last night, to a lesser degree, because the Colts couldn't really keep up with San Francisco, but you see how well San Francisco plays, and that NFC West is unbelievable.
They've been great, man.
It feels like we are watching a much lesser product that doesn't belong on the same field with these teams, and it feels like they are worlds away from competing.
And it's tough for me, Jared, because I was on the field when Detroit was really bad, when fans were showing up putting brown bags on their hands. So, I was in the stadium with Cleveland, and Cleveland is, they're 3-12 right now. They're dealing with a rookie quarterback, but at least they can hang their hat on a defense that can go out there and at least put up a fight. I was around those teams where it was just like they were bad, right? And now to see how we view Detroit, especially, if Cleveland ever gets their quarterback situation, considering their division in, they can be competitive and be somewhere, and hopefully playing for meaningful games in December. Right now, the Jets, I just don't know what they can hang their hat on. I just don't know what's a bright spot for the team. And I think that's the most frustrating part about the Jets right now. You look at both sides of the ball. I mean, should we be happy that we have a really good special teams unit? Like that's the one thing that we can say, okay, like we can compete.
Great. Your kicker's 48 years old.
Right. But the kid Isaiah Washington is solid, right? But that's all we kind of got right now. Nothing's good.
Well, I think the thing for me when I look at the Jets is, have we, for the last handful of years, going into each season, have we overrated the defense? Because I feel like you asked the question, what do you hang your hat on? And I think most Jet fans the last couple of years would have hung their hat on the defense. Mm-hmm. Now, Aaron Rodgers coming in, you would have thought that was going to go really well. The injury, all right, fine. But you still felt like you had the defense that was going to keep you in games. And I will go back to last season when Rodgers clearly was still coming back from the injury and was not 100%. They were still losing games where they had the lead late and the defense couldn't get a stop.
Correct.
So I would ask you, have we as fans, as media, have we overrated that group for the last 3, 4, 5 years?
No, because I thought Saleh did a really good job his first year with the team, especially defensively. And then I thought, certain things kind of failed us along the way. We thought Sauce was going to we thought Sauce Gardner was going to still be here. After his first 2 years, he kind of took a dive. I love DJ Reed. Now he's in Detroit. He took off on us. We took a shot on Cisco coming out of Jacksonville. He's been a failure. Our linebacker core has been, spotty at best, especially since we lost C.J. Mosley. We didn't get the best out of him.
Right, so aren't you answering my question then?
I am, but I'm also saying I think a lot of what happened to this defense is when they showed it a lot early. They've been losing, and now I think we're watching guys really looking like – I think we're watching guys care for themselves rather than believe in a system. And you can't blame them when you've been dealing with all this loss. So it's a lot. It's a lot for every guy in a green helmet.
No question. And you got these games here, and the NFL is a problem, in my opinion, because we're at a point, and we have been now for a couple of years, but it feels like to me now more than ever, it's about the race to lose. And
That's interesting.
It's still an NFL product, and yet I don't disagree with people. Like I know C-Mac's been on this for, a couple of years now, that you got to lose, get the number one pick. He's not wrong, and yet it's still a game played by professionals that can't go out there to try to lose, and if they do try to lose, it looks like a complete and utter mess. I don't know. I don't know what you do.
There's a level of competency and efficiency you have to play the game at, and when you don't meet that standard, it looks like a dumpster fire.
Right.
And the product looks
it's
like
terrible.
You like if the game could be played at 7 a.m. on American soil, you rather that game like you just there still has to be some type of professionalism you have to see. And when you don't meet that standard, it's like, oh, we got bigger issues. And then that's what the Jets have right now.
Right. And when it's not just the Jets, it's a lot of these teams that are on the bottom rung of the league
like the
compared
Raiders.
to the Raiders or another. Now, I would not be surprised because I don't know if Pete Carroll's going to be there next year with the way this season's gone. I think
they give him one more year.
Maybe, but who knows? I mean,
he's
this
like
day
95.
and age,
He's old as hell.
He is 72, I believe. He's a young 72, though. I mean, Pete Carroll's
Is that
running
a
up
thing?
and down.
A young 72?
100%. There are old 72s and there are young 72s.
Well, I'm a young 42 then.
I would agree. And there are old 42s.
What does an old 42 look like?
My
back.
Gray, fat, sloppy, and back issues. That would be one of them. But this game this weekend, why would you put it on? If you look at, I haven't looked at the schedule, but you've got the teams, the top tier teams that are jockeying for position, that are going for the number 1 seed, and then you got these other teams at the bottom, and it's just. And I don't know if a draft lottery is the answer to where you don't think about, I hate using the word, but the tanking for the number 1 spot. And if you're the Jets, what's the point in winning at this point? And that's what I mean. That's the issue.
Well, that's why they're starting Brady Cook and not Tyrod Taylor. I think they're going to keep pushing Brady Cook out there. They understand what it is. That's them tanking without saying they're tanking. So that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Tyrod's pretty much healthy. Garrett Wilson has a sore knee. They've set him down. And so they're not giving Brees as many touches because they don't want to they got to roll him out there, but they don't want to give him, a lot of carries because they need him, he's part of the plan next season.
Right. So I love this too. So that's the other thing. You're going to play this guy? What if he gets hurt? What are you supposed to do?
I mean, but you're starting to see signs of them saying we're tanking without tanking. And so,
well, in their case, yes. I just mean for the teams that are not playoff bound. Now you get to the point where you've got 2 weeks left in the season, and you have situations where coaches have to now think, or they keep being asked questions about, are you going to play him? What if he gets hurt? You saw what happened to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
What if he tears his ACL in a meaningless game you don't have next year?
Right.
I don't know what you're supposed. Then just shut it down. Don't play then.
Which is fair, but I think you just got to own it. If you're a head coach, if you feel like you're not going into the postseason and you got a guy who is a part of the big picture next year, it's like, hey man, we're shutting down. Just be honest with it. I think fans respect that, and then roll them out there and like to your point, you try to get out of bounds, you roll your ankle, and now it's a knee, then you're out in the offseason, and then you got another headline that you got to answer. So I would own. I think a lot of bad teams just own where you're at.
All right, so last night, so we get away from our bad teams for a moment. We'll get back to the Giants in a little while too, because that whole situation has turned ugly. I want to get your take on the coaching search that will be coming up soon. But last night's game
Brian Flores
is another example. I got him on the list. Is another example of how good. I say the NFC West. We've seen really good divisions. AFC North has been good at times. The NFC East has been great at times. These 3 teams, though, atop the NFC West are A, fun to watch. B, they are outstanding. And C, the Niners pretty much, I know the Colts aren't completely out of it, but they really dealt them another big blow last night.
It's a good story, though. Fun story.
Yeah, fun story. But, I mean, it is what it is. They're now 8-7, and their season's essentially over, and Phillip Rivers looked good. But Brock Purdy looked fabulous last night. The 49ers are one of these teams that, to me, seem like they're getting better and better.
They don't get enough credit, honestly.
I agree. And an outside shot at still the number 1 seed in the West, whereas I think the Rams are the best team in football.
I do, too.
And yet San Francisco could be the 1 seed.
I was impressed with Shanahan because I think when they rolled out Mac Jones, especially when Purdy went through his injuries, it wasn't just Purdy that was hurt. Brandon Ayuk, Kittle went through a lot of injuries. They had some issues on the offense. Bosa. Fred Warner went down. I mean, there were some big-time dudes for that team that were literally down, and it was Saleh and Shanahan, and you saw this team just flat out get it done, especially with Mac Jones. Mac Jones, people forget he beat the Rams. He beat them. I think it was a Week 5 game. He rolled out there, and I think he threw for 300-something yards and beat the Rams, and people were just like, how are the Niners still relevant? All their superheroes are down right now, and they're rolling out guys, and they're playing at a high level. Defense is showing up. They're scoring points. CMC seemed like he's been durable enough this season to kind of carry the load. I just been really impressed about their whole operation, man, and be able to be relevant, especially when they didn't have a lot, and a lot of guys have kind of, due to injuries, tailed off.
I'm going to ask you a question that's probably unanswerable, but I'm going to ask anyway, because everybody on an NFL roster is talented. I think we agree with that.
Talent? Well, they're capable. They're confident.
Capable.
Yeah, confident.
I mean, but come on, they're talented. I mean, you're talking about.
I've seen a lot of bad football players on NFL rosters, and I don't know how they get there.
Okay, well then maybe that will answer the question. Because I was going to say, all you.
I think it's hard to find bad basketball players on the NBA roster.
Well, because you only need 5 of them at a time, as opposed to you need at least 22 good football players and one big quarterback. Maybe you just answer the question then, because one of the things you always hear from a head coach when their star player goes down is next man up. Next man up.
Yep.
And sometimes it works. And when it does work, it looks great. And when it doesn't work, it looks like, well, that's why you're paying the star player money.
Right.
Is it the talent, which I think you might have just answered, or is it the scheme? Like the idea that San Francisco lost so many people that would cripple other organizations, yet had those next guys step up and do it seamlessly. Is it the way they put it together, or is it the player? Is it the combination? And why do some teams and organizations do it better than others?
I think for the Niners, in their case, it's the scheme. And I think the way they window dress as far as the motions and pulling guys and really running the ball with CMC in between the tackles. They use CMC as a stabilizer for the offense, right? And Usek is big for them. Like, he does so much for them. And that's why he's a 9-time Pro Bowl, excuse me. And then you look at the way they've been able to kind of, I think Mac Jones doesn't get enough credit for what he's been able to do, especially early in the season for them. I think when, they beat the Saints, they beat the Cardinals, they had the big win against the Rams, and then it almost looked to the point where you're like, man, Mac Jones is playing so well, you might as well keep Purdy down because he's hot right now. And then Purdy was like, you're not going to Wally Pitt me. I got to get out there. And then Kittle comes back. And so much of that to me, and particularly with this Niner team, is really the scheme. But I think other teams aren't as strong in that aspect as far as scheme. So you need the talent to kind of override that. So I think it's a case-by-case scenario.
I think I just came up with the next head coach of the Giants. Rob Saleh.
Man.
Scheme. I'm just kidding.
Man.
We will go over the list. I've got a detailed list for you. We will do sometime this morning, get your take and, the likelihood of who might get the job as we run down the list. Because now there are odds in Vegas on who might
really?
Oh, yeah, there's odds on who's going to be the next head coach of the Giants. And
are you hot on anybody?
Hot on anybody, no. But I do believe, in my opinion, I would not hire a coordinator again. I want someone that has been there, that has done it, that knows what they're doing.
I agree.
That will give them credibility immediately. Enough of the Shermers, enough of the McAdoos, though he was fine his first year, and I get that.
No more projects.
No.
Yeah.
And to me, I would say the same thing I know they have Aaron Glenn now, but the same thing for the Jets. I mean, how many times are we going to do this? Get me someone that has won before, to where at least I know they know what they're doing. There's a reason why the Broncos turned it around so quickly. Sure, talent. Sean Payton knows what he's doing.
He knows how to operate.
Yeah.
He knows how to run an operation. And by the way, he came through the door hot. Remember how he went right? He said, fire me Russell Wilson.
Yes.
Fire me Russell Wilson and clean all his stuff out.
Right.
I'm done with this.
They gave him a few games, and then it was like,
well, he had that one big win on Monday night against Buffalo. And then after a while, a tailspin, and Rashawn was like, I'm done with this.
But I look at teams like the Broncos and the Patriots. I know Mike Vrabel didn't win a Super Bowl. Mike Vrabel won a hell of a lot of games in Tennessee and was in the playoffs every year. Like, those are two coaches to me that are examples of program changes.
You're 100% right. And when you watch the Pats play, man, they play like Mike Vrabel. I played against Mike Vrabel. Like, I went 4 quarters, pound for pound with Mike Vrabel, and he was tough. He was disciplined. He was scrappy, and you put on this Pats tape, that's exactly how they play. And you can see they play for each other.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised about the way the Pats play, how they play, and how they able to go. I mean, they were down 11 points against Baltimore and rallied.
And still come back and win.
And still got it. That's Mike Vrabel. That's
no doubt. We'll get to that. We'll do that later on in the show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got CeeLo in with all the sounds from yesterday and last night. It is Willie and Jerry in for Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network.